Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Puma, principal at Sutherland High School. On behalf of Dr. Case, Mrs. Marin, and myself, we want to welcome you to our orientation. For the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to take you through a big picture idea of our school, give you some information about key players in our building, contacts, events, and what the school year is going to look like. So Dr. Case is the administrator in charge of students A through L, that's throughout the entire building, and Mrs. Marin is the administrator in charge of students' last names M through Z, again throughout the entire building. This is structured in a way that we can all get to know each other really well, so that the assistant principals will be working with your family and getting to know our students and staying with them for all 4 years. Our district has a mission, and in our district, our community works collaboratively to inspire and prepare our students to be their best, do their best, and make a difference in the lives of others. And we see evidence of this in our students every day throughout all the work that they do and they have done and they will continue to do. This happens inside and outside of our building. We're very proud of our student body, and we do everything we can to promote that kind of behavior. Our core values throughout the district is that we're student-centered. We create supportive environments, continuous improvement. We're progressive in our thinking and collaborative, and this is something that we do really, really very well. I've been in the district for many years, and I'm very proud to say that throughout our building and throughout our district, we are always working together to improve. Never satisfied with the current status, which is always above expectations, but still trying to improve ourselves as a building and as a district. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Case. She's going to talk about the hybrid learning model at Sutherland High School.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you to discuss what our hybrid model is going to look like this fall for our entire school body, but in particular for our freshmen. It's nice to be able to have some time to be able to explain that in a little further detail than just the information you've received thus far. So we are going to have 2 groups or cohorts that are going to be attending Sutherland by day. Monday and Thursday will be the group 1, which is now referred to as the blue group. And on Tuesday and Friday, we will have group 2, which is the gold group. And those will be by last name. The first group will be letters A through L, and the second group will be M through Z. Wednesday will be our fully remote day. So that all learners will be learning from home that day, and that we're going to talk a little bit more about what that's going to look like for you. There are 2 types of learning that occurs within this hybrid model. The first is called asynchronous learning, and these are learning experiences that the students will have when they are not engaged in a live teacher or a live instructional format. So this will be not real-time interaction, but assigned tasks that the teacher has prepared ahead of time for the students to engage in at their own pace. The second type of learning that exists in this model is synchronous, and these are the live learning experiences that your child will have with the teacher. So again, in this hybrid model, it's going to be a mix of both of those 2 experiences. With regard to attendance and accountability, we believe now and always that daily attendance is very important for students to feel engaged and that their experience is meaningful. So this belief holds true regardless of whether students are learning remotely from home in the hybrid model or here in person. Administration, us, will support the teachers and families relative to these new protocols around attendance and especially around accountability. Because we want to ensure that all students remain focused, through the duration of their week and each day, and that's going to look different than it did this past spring, because we've put protocols in place so that both teachers and students are really maximizing the instructional time with one another. With regard to our special education students, our ELL students, and reading and resource 504 and AIS services, qualifying students will receive services in a combination of both remote and in-person experiences. Our ELL students will attend school 4 days a week, and they'll be learning from home remotely on Wednesdays. Of course, as always, our learning specialists will work with families and the general education teacher to ensure that the education is streamlined and that the experiences are most appropriate for each student. Some 504 reading and AIS services may be provided remotely. In terms of curriculum, assessments, and grading, this is something that, a definite shift for all of our learners at this time and our teachers. So what we did, we spent a lot of time over the summer working in teams to really figure out how to maximize that experience in this hybrid model for our students and teachers. We recognize that curriculum needs to be adjusted based on perhaps any skill or learning gaps that existed from the spring, and that we also, as always, differentiate the experience based on the learning need and skills that each student possesses. Teachers will be using pre-assessment data to target instruction based on need. So every unit, there should be some kind of information gathering from the student to see where they are regarding the skills and content for that unit. Both formative and summative assessments will be utilized in this hybrid model. So if we think back to the spring, those formative assessments they could be daily or weekly check-ins to kind of get a sense of where that student is at with regard to a particular learning concept. Summative assessments happen after some time has accrued, usually a unit type assessment or task, which those will look a little differently, which we're going to talk about as well. However, in any case, academic integrity is extremely important. All student work we are recommending, the default is for them to be the students to complete that independently unless otherwise noted by the teacher. With regard to student work submissions, these we recognize are going to be in multiple forms this year. As we saw in the spring, teachers are going to show flexibility and are going to be able to work with the family and the student as to responding to their learning needs and being able to submit knowledge of skills and content. These may be in the form of writing pieces, traditional tests, responding to an online assessment, a video or audio recording, a picture of student work, conversation with a teacher, or an alternative assessment. And so it's very important for this that teachers work with students and families have input into how the work submission is working for that family. All submitted work will be graded based on the PCSD grading philosophy and practices. And so in our district, we believe that students can have multiple means to demonstrate work, as well as being able to continually demonstrate knowledge on a flexible basis. And so our goal is always the assessment of skills, and we know that that will look different for each student, especially in this hybrid model. And now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Marin, who is going to address social and emotional needs.
Thank you, Dr. Case. I'm going to be speaking to all of you about social, emotional, and mental health needs. As always, at Sutherland, physical, social, and emotional safety is our first priority for all our students. Our teachers prioritize the creation of a positive, supportive, and respectful classroom environment in person and remotely. Our mental health team will be supporting students as they navigate the hybrid model. We as administrators work very closely with our counselors when we start to see that maybe a student is struggling. And in particular, in a hybrid model where there are remote learning days and in-person learning days, sometimes a lack of engagement can be a real clue that maybe there's something going on socially or emotionally that we as a team can address. So I want to make sure that you all feel free to reach out to your student's counselor if you sense that there is something going on that we can help you with. This fall, all of our teachers will be using one technology platform that our students are very familiar with, Microsoft Office Teams. So every teacher will be using that platform, which will allow for consistent communication and delivery of instructional materials. It'll also serve as a vehicle for communication for teachers and students. Zoom is also going to be used for instructional purposes, but again, all of it's going to run through Microsoft Teams. That's going to be a great strength for all of our teachers and our students as we engage in this new model of learning for our building. Some of our learners have opted to be fully remote for this fall semester. All of the structures and supports that Mr. Puma, Dr. Case, and I have articulated apply fully to our remote learners. We are committed to offering a high-quality remote learning program. Curricular expectations for our remote learners are being adjusted based on prioritization of essential learning and skills. We as a Sutherland team are committed to supporting our remote students' social and emotional needs. Now I'm going to turn it over to Principal Puma.
When we think of the Sutherland experience, we actually see the whole child in the different ways that we can we provide experiences and opportunities to our students in a way that really rounds off their high school experience. So we look at this through academics, athletics, arts, and activities. And of course, it's going to look a little different this year. Well, quite different this year. But we're going to give you an overview of the things that all of our students can look forward to in the coming years. We're very proud of the annual recognition we get at the county, state, and national levels. We work very hard to maintain the high expectations that we set for ourselves and for our students. The students always rise to the occasion. We're very proud of them. We offer a wide variety of AP courses, and in the hybrid model this year, we'll see our students continuing to take advantage of those opportunities. It'll look a little different for the remote model, but there are many opportunities for our students to look forward to as they grow within their 4 years at Sutherland. We offer Project Lead the Way certification as well as dual credit agreements and dual credits for our courses in many colleges. EMCC is an opportunity for students as they get older to have an experience at a separate campus. We have a really strong relationship with EMCC so that our students can explore different ways of learning trades and that sort of thing. We have approximately 80 elective offerings for our students, and this is an incredible amount of elective offerings that our students can take. Of course, we make sure that we balance their core requirements with the electives, and these electives are a great way for our students to explore different topics and help set them up for success as they think about college and career. We have a very rich arts program, and in a typical year, you'll see musical and drama productions starting from the fall. And our musicians go to solo competitions and also represent our district and our school extremely well. The Sutherland Arts Festival every spring is something that we always look forward to, and our students do display their art both in the building and in the community. And our community connections include our IT, 1570 Gallery at the Valley Manor, and other local venues. While activities and the number of activities that we have going on right now, it looks a little different from usual. We do have a really rich offering of activities that our students can take part in. And again, this is to supplement their academic experience and give them an opportunity to explore different areas so that as they move through the 4 years of high school, they can start to hone in on their interests and build those skills and knowledge. We have internships, co-op experiences, job shadowing through those offices, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Many extracurricular clubs and activities, and even in this remote kind of environment, the hybrid model that we have right now, we are running a few clubs that help with the operational aspect of our school. And again, we're working very hard to keep everyone safe, and we look forward to, as time goes on, having reinstating many of those clubs and activities, as well as pep rallies. We'll see nightly news continue. Mr. Brady and our students will put together video announcements for our students and for our families, and we'll have more information on that as the school year opens up. Our students participate in many volunteer opportunities. We have link leaders and new student mentors. As you know, one of the clubs that is actually running right now is our link crew, and this is in an effort to make our freshmen feel welcome at Sutherland High School. and again, part of those clubs that are in the operational aspect of our building. And we did do a lot of work. A lot of people did a lot of work in order to make sure that we're modifying the activities to keep everybody safe, but also create a welcoming environment for everyone. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Case back to talk about inclusivity in our school.
Hello again. Inclusivity is such an important concept that our district has truly embraced, specifically over the past few years with a variety of efforts in terms of making sure that our families and communities and students and staff all feel included. Earlier, Mr. Puma talked about that collaborative piece, and I think those two values are really tied together with collaboration and inclusivity, thinking about how we can bring everybody to the table and value voices equally. So it's very important that regardless of our perspectives, perhaps they differ, and that's okay, because we need opportunities to talk them through and to hear each other and to develop greater senses of empathy and understanding for all perspectives, and that's something that we truly embrace here at Sutherland. Along these lines, this is a wheel that represents the different dimensions of diversity and really identity. So we recognize at Sutherland that all of our students come to the table representing this type of intersectionality where we have multiple identities that occur at the same time and that we exist within ourselves as we enter the school community. And so we believe that regardless of sexual orientation, religion, race, or disability, that all of those voices that have been historically marginalized in the past are important to be heard on a daily basis. And I truly say that we see this in our practice. As an administrative team and a teaching staff, we value this greatly, and we really embrace it in all of our daily work, including things like community building circles that we've recently started to practice and restorative practices. Through the use of these practices, we truly value all of our students and staff in terms of representation, voice, and inclusivity. This phrase, be united for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion, is something that defines us as Sutherland Knights. This is a social and emotional slogan that we truly embrace and believe in. You will see this posted through the schools, and more importantly, it translates into our daily work with our students. And now, Mr. Puma will return to discuss our school counseling staff.
Here at Sutherland, we are fortunate to have 4 counselors for our students. The counselors are broken up and assigned to students based on last name. So Ms. Drake works with students last name A through E. Mr. Winter, students F through K. Mrs. Teal works with students last names L through R. And Mrs. Howe works with students S through Z. And you can see their contact information on these slides. We're also fortunate to have a lot of support in our counseling office. Our counseling secretaries include Mrs. Honorat, Ms. Ferguson, and Mrs. Lapari. And you can reach any of them by dialing 267-1160. They help us stay organized, and as students require help along the way, they're our first stop. Also in the counseling suite is Ms. Foster. She helps with our College and Career Center, and she organizes the college visits that will likely happen again in the future, sometime soon, as well as other things such as ACTs and SAT registration and planning. In our library, Mr. Regan is our librarian. Has been here for a number of years. Is just phenomenal and is working very carefully to plan for both the hybrid model that we have now and when we come back to school in the future. Our library and media center is a phenomenal place to support students, and you can always reach Mr. Regan through email, and he helps students in addition to finding sources for their work. He can also help with some technology needs. We have 2 nurses at Sutherland. Ms. Crum and Ms. Lyon are reachable by 267-1140. And they're both here every day and have been instrumental in helping us make the shift to keeping everyone safe in this environment. And if you have any questions at all about anything related to the health office, medications, that sort of thing, you can reach out to them. We have 3 security guards, 2 during the day and 1 in the evening. Mr. Boyan and Mr. Conklin are here during the day helping us stay safe, and Mr. Marr is here in the afternoons. So for our career exploration and community service, we have Ms. Wittig. She's the one you want to contact if you have any questions about recording community service and that sort of thing. She works directly with Michelle Legg. Ms. Legg is also there in the same office, in the community service portion of the office, and you can reach them directly through email. At this time, we'll bring Mrs. Marin back to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Puma. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the logistics of the school day at Sutherland, but know that we will be reaching out to families with more details on all of our procedures as we get closer to our opening day when our students will be in the building. This slide shows the typical pattern for drop-off and pickup for students. So parents would come off of Sutherland Street, down the driveway, and then kind of, as you can see, take a right, loop around the lot, and all drop-off and pickup is actually in front of our main office door. Currently, parents cannot park or pick up in the LOM lot, which is the X that just appeared, and the bus loop lot. We may look at our procedures for arrival and dismissal and decide that in the best interest of students and safety, we may tweak some of these procedures. But again, families will be the first to know. Our daily schedule at Sutherland is basically the same one that has been in place for years. It's a 9-period day. Lunch periods run 5th, 6th, and 7th. And our homeroom period will be embedded into our first period class this year. This will be the first 5 minutes of first period, and it will allow for not only a basic attendance check, but it will also potentially allow for some connections to be made, and again, maybe some opportunity to infuse some social and emotional connections into that time period. Lunch, again, as I mentioned, is periods 5, 6, and 7. We are prioritizing student safety, following all the appropriate protocols. So in terms of the locations of each student lunch, that is being determined as we evaluate how our building can accommodate all of our students as needed. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Case, and she is going to be talking about the Dignity Act.
I am privileged and fortunate to be the Dignity for All Students Act coordinator here at Sutherland. If those of you that aren't familiar, DVSA is a state law that was passed in 2012 that really creates a tighter process to monitor students who are being bullied or harassed by their peers. We believe here at Sutherland that all students deserve to attend school in an environment free from harassment and bullying. This includes all degrees, so from what we can consider mild to extreme. We believe in intervention early and proactively. We believe that students should be free to go about their school day without intimidation from any group or persons. If any types of violations are made to these principles that we value so dearly, please reach out to me. There is a form that you can follow, a link to, that I will receive a copy of immediately, and I will begin an investigation into the situation, which includes transparent communication to students and families. Again, please see the website for that link if needed. So it is our intention to make sure that our students are free to pursue academics in an environment free from bullying, and to feel safe, social and emotionally, to pursue their academic goals here at Sutherland. And now, Mr. Puma will return to talk about PTSA and give some final concluding thoughts.
I mentioned earlier that I've been in the district for quite a while, and one of the things that's been true the entire time I've been working at Pittsford schools is a phenomenal group of parents there to support us along the way. Our PTSA is very involved in our school events, meets regularly with myself as well as teachers and students, and are there to support us. So you can find out more information about our PTSA through the website that you see on the slide. And what you'll find there is the ability to get information, sign up for information to be emailed out and through the e-news. And you should also know that the PTSA does include regular announcements on our morning announcements, which you'll receive if you sign up for that. And the information is always there on our website as well. The last thing I'll say is that we typically, in a typical year, will have a number of events, especially in September, including our open house, that take place. And we're working very, very hard to put together variations of those events, including, say, our open house, which is when all the parents would be able to come to the building and travel their child's schedule. And in order to keep everybody safe, we're looking at how to do that virtually. And we are making modifications to a lot of the events that we typically have, such as what's currently going on is our freshman orientation, so that we know that everyone is practicing social distancing and wearing the PPE and all the things that we know that are known to keep us safe. So if we can put together modifications to events, we'll do that. And things such as our open house we'll likely go virtual. And in any case, we'll be sure to communicate out to everybody what those events will look like. And lastly, just know that we are doing everything we can. We've been working very hard as a building and as a district. I'm very proud of the work that's been happening in terms of maintaining the integrity of our programming, as well as making sure we're keeping everyone safe. And of course, safety is always our first priority. And then putting together these events and maintaining a strong instructional program and ways to round off our students and everything that comes with being the phenomenal school that we are being worked on constantly in this new environment. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for partnering with us, and best wishes for a wonderful school year.